Nancy Burt-Preece here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Here's all my contact information. You can take a quick screenshot. Please join my Facebook business page. Please like, subscribe, and watch to the end on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow that channel. Please share it with all your crafty friends. So today we're going to use the new annual catalog in a couple of ways. And these are some cards we're going to make. I'm going to share with you first in the back of the catalog, which is on page 118 and 119. There are different techniques. We're going to try the Spritz Bliss technique, and I'm going to show you two different ways that we can use water to make some neat effects. The other thing is this card I used on page 22. There are all different kinds of different templates. And so I decided I was going to try this template number 4 from the top. And that's how I created that card. So let's get some creating going. We're going to make 2 different kinds. Since it's all spritzing, I thought we would make them both and show you a little bit. So let's start with this one. So what I have is I have that new basic beige, and it's light enough you can write on the inside. I just pre-stamped that, and I think did I pre-stamp it on the other one? No, I didn't, but I will. It's using the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. I'm also using Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. From that stamp set, I'm using Thinking of You Fondly. And this one is 3/4 inch, and this is 1 inch of Lost Lagoon. So I will show you how we're going to put those together. On the front, I love this, this tin type embossing folder. This is Pretty Peacock, 4 by 5 1/4. So that's all fun stuff. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, this is a piece of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and it is 4.5 by, I keep looking, 3. So 3 by 4.5. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stampin' Spritzer, and I am going to spray. So this is pretty wet. The more, you don't want it so saturated, but you want it wet enough where things will kind of run, because it's a watercolor look. That's what you're going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp in Lost Lagoon. I spritz the paper first, and then I'm going to stamp. And you want it to kind of mix around. That's what we want. Now, you have a couple of choices. You can let it dry naturally, or you can use your heat gun to dry it. By the magic of television, I happen to have one already finished. So after it finishes, and you want that kind of look, you want that to be kind of a watery look, I'm going to clean this, and I would recommend either cleaning or putting it on your paper towel, just so you don't have a lot of excess water on there. And I'm going to stamp it again, and this time, well, let's try something different. Last time I did it in Pretty Peacock. This time let's do it in the Lost Lagoon so you can see how that looks. All right, I'm going to line it up as best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it's an effect. Oh, I don't know which I like better. They're both very similar, aren't they? It's a little darker, but it's a neat effect, isn't it? And it's easy. It's so easy. Now, it does take a little bit of drying time. I do grant you that much. Then, while I have this out, since I didn't pre-stamp it, this time I'll do it in the Lost Lagoon. since we're going that way. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay. Actually, I said Lost Lagoon and I grabbed the Pretty Peacock. Okay, so it's Pretty Peacock, but it's totally okay. It all works together. Gosh, I'm really batting 1,000 today. Okay. I'm going to just adhere this to the front. And because I'm using a sketch, yep, I have it the right way, because that would be bad if I had it the wrong way. I'm going to use green glue on this now, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes the watercolor paper, once it dries, it might move up a little bit. If you're drying it with your heat gun, make sure you go on both sides. It just helps it lay flatter. And then I'm just going to put that right up against there. Now I'm going to grab a piece of ribbon, which I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. I already ripped one end. I kind of like the ripped look. I'm going to rip one end. Pushing that down. See, it really needs, you need to kind of watch it because it's easy to flip up. Then I'm just going to rip this a little bit. Always rip towards yourself. The next thing I'm going to do is when you stamp this, make sure you leave just a little bit. I didn't leave a lot. And I have some of this new peacock ribbon, which is in our annual catalog, and it's got some gold. And I don't know if you can see, you can kind of almost see through it. It's really neat ribbon, and it ties beautifully. So let's say I didn't leave enough there. I probably did, but we could always put it there. I really like it on the end better. I don't know why. But the beautiful thing is, if you come to my class, you get to choose and do whatever you want, which is the fun, creative part. This is probably going to be the hardest part right there. It's putting the ribbon on. Let me go and try it again. I can always move it over once I've got it. I'm just tying it in a knot. And I'll move it over a little bit so it's right on the end. I kind of like it so it's kind of there and moving. And this just gives it a little bit of movement. And then I'm going to pop it up. I'm not going to cut that off yet. I will, because it's obviously too long a tail for that. And here we go. So one hint I will have for people that are making this at my class is leave a little more end than I did. That's kind of tricky. Then I'm just going to trim that off with my ribbon scissors. And there's your first card. Easy. The hardest part is letting it dry. Is this still a little wet? Yeah, because you can see some. So I would come in with my heat gun, and sometimes if the back part of it starts to kind of curl up, spritz a little on the back and do it on both sides, and that will get it to lay nice and flat. I'm going to set this aside so I can use it on another card. So that's the first card. Here's the second card and a different technique. Same spritzing, but we're going to do it differently. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to spritz right on the stamp, but let me share with you the details. This is just a regular card base. I went ahead and stamped on the inside, and I kind of like them dancing around. You can try to get them exactly lined up. I like the flowers dancing. This is Shy Shamrock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have Very Vanilla on the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. I have some of the Pretty in Pink, 2024-26, the new DSP. And I have that cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And this is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. I have a 3/4 piece of Pretty in Pink, and I just stamped that. So on this card, I'm using Flowers of Beauty for the flowers and the Simply Scripted. I love this. I love these sayings. I love how it works on a card. It's really fun. So let me show you how to do this technique, which was equally easy. I'm going to start, and I just started with the tallest one in the middle. I mean, I don't have any rhyme or reason. I'm going to ink it up first. Then I'm going to spritz it. And I'm going to get it, I'm moving my card so I don't get water all over it. I'm going to spritz quite a bit. You want it wet, because if you don't get it wet, it won't look watercolory. And I'm going to put that one, the tallest one. So you really want that. I would clean it off. You can do it on, I'll have paper towels. You can do it on a paper towel, just so you can get good ink. You notice we're also going to get little dots on there, which I love, because that just adds the creativity to your card and it makes it look watercolory. Oops, I didn't spritz that one quite as much. And you know what? I'm okay with that. This is a technique, and maybe I forgot to spritz it. I don't know. Let's spritz it a little bit more this time. I might just, I wonder if, what am I going to do to fix this? Well, let's spritz it a little bit. There we go. So now I've got a big spritzy part there. This one, I will have to use my heat gun. So I will show you how I'm going to do that. That's a good technique to know. I'm going to move this to the side. I got water everywhere, water everywhere. I'm going to come in and heat it. And if you look in the light, you can see where it's still kind of got water all over the place. If it starts curling up, I will then turn it over. But right now it doesn't seem like it's curling up too much. I will have, at my class, I will have heat guns. So this one is a little bit different look than that. If I didn't like that, first of all, I always have extra paper, but you can turn it over and start again. I'm really okay with that because when you put the saying Speedy Recovery over it, it's totally still going to look great. So that's one way to just get it quicker and get it dried right away. You know, obviously it's ideal if you can let it dry on its own, but sometimes, you know, we need stuff to happen, so we need it to happen now. So I kind of put a couple of those on there, and once again, oops. See, I'm talking and I forget to spritz and all sorts of stuff. I'm putting a few more on this one because it's kind of the center one. So two different ways to use water to get an interesting technique on your cards. I think I'm going to end it. I love these colors. Pretty in Pink and Shy Shamrock together look really nice. And I love the little extra speckles and things that just really adds. This is still a tiny bit wet, so I'll show you what I did. I stamped the inside. I have lots of these Pretty in Pink, different kinds. You can put it on however you choose. This would go right like that. And then I would pop this up right there. Isn't that a nice card for somebody who has had surgery, struggling, whatever? So I hope that you try this technique. It's fun, and I will call it the Spritz Bliss 2 different ways. Have a great day.